Hi there! If you're one of my regular viewers, this video is not actually for you. You can keep watching, I don't mind. But this time I'm trying to reach other people. So we'll jiggle the hashtags and the title and, what you can do. Give me a like so that we can reach more of YouTube. Okay, let's start over. Hi there. My name's Michelle Klasquin Johnson. And we're going to talk about the death of Windows 10. It is an ex-operating system. It's pushing up the daisies. It's gone to join the choir invisible. It's done. And Microsoft will tell you, Windows 11. Buy a whole new machine. And what we're seeing lots of videos on YouTube on how to keep Windows 10 running. Because your Windows 10 machine didn't mysteriously stop running, it's still going. But it won't get any updates, it won't get, any security measures. Hey, I feel for you. You can keep it going for a year or two, but sooner or later that one program that you really like is going to say Windows 11 required. And on the other side we see the Linux distributions scrambling to bring out versions that look as much like Windows as possible. Well, frankly, I don't see it happening. I don't see a mass transition to Linux because of this. Because Windows 10 users will eventually buy new machines. And they will use Windows 11. Always have. We saw it with Vista. We saw it with Windows 2000. We saw it with move from Win95 to WinXP. Every time new minimum requirements are set that are higher than the last time, and every time it happens. And I can't blame you. Getting a new machine is nice. But in any case, what's going to happen to your old Windows 10 box? Now, in the past you'd say, put it up on eBay. But you're now going to see in the next year that the prices of old machines that can't run Windows 11 are going to just crash. It'll be worth nothing. So, not worth it, might as well keep it. And people like me are going to pick it up for a song, if you do. So, you've got this old box. You need to do something with it. You can't just stuff it in the garage and let it gather dust. And it's a perfectly good computer. 2-3 years old. Yeah, you remember what they told us? They said Windows 10 will be the last Windows ever. We're just going to keep updating it forever. Yeah, never mind. So, I'm going to say, consider Haiku. Now, Haiku is an operating system. It's not a kind of Linux. We've ported a lot of Linux programs, but in itself it is not a Linux distribution. It's got its own kernel, so by the definition of an operating system, Haiku is not Linux. It's not BSD. So, now most people these days, well, I'm old, okay? I come from the time where everybody who owned a computer was to some extent a programmer. And those days are over. Most of the 5-6 billion computers in use in the world are appliances. People just want to run Word, Excel, Photoshop, and that's it. They're not interested in programming, using the term broadly. But if you were just a plain user, then you probably wouldn't be watching a computer-related video on YouTube. So let's say you are a little bit of a geek. It's not that you can program video drivers in assembly or explore weird new languages, but you can write a bit of BASIC, a bit of Pascal, Python, maybe even a little C++, and you like to explore alternatives. Well, that's Haiku. So, Haiku is not ready to take over your entire computing life. It isn't. Getting there. We got LibreOffice, we got the GIMP, we got ports of some very major programs. But webcams are still a problem, and installing it takes a little bit of skill and knowledge. And that's just what makes it interesting. Because, first of all, we've got one of the greatest online communities. I mean, there are no flame wars. It's like being part of a family. And like all family members, we quibble, we argue. We don't always agree with each other, but yeah, you don't see these long lists of people calling each other names, and it's like computer communities were back in the 80s, 90s, sort of old school. We're all there to make Haiku just a little bit better. If you're a non-programmer, you can help with translating interfaces. You can help with writing documentation. Or you can just use it and see it develop. So, not for your main machine, but for that second machine that's now going to be standing doing nothing. Install Haiku. What do you got to lose? It's an afternoon's work to install it. See if it works for you. And go have a look at the forum and see what's happening there. And if you don't like it, you can always still install one of those new Linux distributions. We're not changing Haiku to make it more like Windows. Not going to happen. You'll have to, adjust to a new way of doing things. Now, obviously, we think it's a better way. And if you agree with us, then come onto the forum, introduce yourself, and you'll see you'll be welcomed. So, I've got to put my money where my mouth is here. So I'm just going to show you just a few things that Haiku can do. Okay, so this is a pretty empty Haiku installation. And on the desktop, we've got two folders. And you will see that in Haiku, this yellow tab, it's yellow by default. You can change the color actually. It doesn't go all the way across. Why? Well, I can move it around. Holding down Shift, and I can move it left or right. I can also take this folder, and then I can hold down the Win key, and you see the color changes. And now these two are glued together. And I can resize them together. I can move them around together. And now you're probably thinking, oh, two file manager windows. Man, no big deal. No, any two programs running on Haiku. Okay, so when the time comes, hold down the Win key again, and you can separate them again. Or if you don't want them in like a tab configuration, you just want to glue them side by side. And if I had a third window, I could glue that in there as well. Okay, so I told you I was going to show you something very simple. How many ways do you have to move or copy a file in your operating system? Well, first one, just drag it across. Same as Windows, same as Mac OS, same as 100 Linux file managers. And if they're on the same disk, then it'll get copied, it'll get moved, sorry. If they're on different disks, they'll get copied. You know this. Now, in anything derives from Unix, how do you know if it's on the same or a different file system, on a different disk? Because it all goes down back to root. Right. Now in Windows, of course, you've got C and D and E, etc. But in Linux, Mac OS, BSD, you don't have that. You just sort of have to know that it's on a different disk. So, suppose I pick up this file, and you'll notice there are no extensions, because in Haiku we don't need extensions. Haiku knows what kind of file it is. These are just dummy files, but if we go something like settings, then you'll see that, let's see, what can we can just identify it, and that is also a generic file, but we can, let's make a new text file. And you see this is a text file, so it has a different icon. No extension. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Right, so suppose we pick this one up with the right mouse button. Right, pick it up on the actual icon, and we drop it here. Now what happens? Now it asks you, do you want to move, copy, or make a link? I'm going to say copy it. So first you move it with the mouse, with the right mouse button, or just if you move it with the left mouse button, it works the way you've always expected it to. If you move it with the right mouse button, it will ask you. So first you move, then you decide what to do with it. So what if you want to do it the other way around? Well, then you right-click, and now you first decide what you want to do, and parent folder, and navigate there, and there you go. So that's 3 different ways to copy or move a file before we've even started talking about doing it in the terminal. Okay, so that is your lightning introduction to Haiku. And those of us who work with Haiku absolutely love it, and we hope you will too. So, when you've got that computer gathering dust, put Haiku on it. See what you think, and let us know. Thanks for watching.